Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the restricted guide series with Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is a really solid Pokemon, being a fire flying type, only having 3 weaknesses, however one is a 4 times weakness to rock. The other 2 are water and electric, which are both really good and both have, Pokemon in the top 5 to top 10 usage that are really good with water and electric and rock. So it's not the greatest typing, but it's not bad, and it's very good offensively as well, giving you really good max moves, ability to change the weather, which is very useful in a format with Kyogre and Groudon. We have flying, which can become max airstream for great forms of speed control, and it's overall just very, very solid. These stats are really, really incredible. It has a very solid natural bulk, even though its defense is 90, which is a little bad, but it's still pretty solid. Attack at 130 is incredible. Special defense at 154 is incredible, and then speed at 90 is very solid. So it can be used, in any kind of form for Trick Room or, not Trick Room. Tailwind, it can be great after a max airstream or 2, and it's even solid as at a base level for speed. So it's all over just great stats. The ability is actually really solid as well, being Regenerator, giving you, 33% HP heal whenever it switches out of battle from, battle into your party, so that's really good. So its ability is great, stats are great, typing solid. It's just a good Pokemon overall. And honestly, you can use it as a Dynamax Pokemon or a non-Dynamax Pokemon because of its signature move, Sacred Fire, just being such a good move also. So it's just overall very, very solid. And that's about it for the overview. Let's go ahead and jump into the builds that I have prepared for today. I actually have 2 builds prepared and a lot of items that you can use and a lot of Pokemon that are good next to it. So we've got a good bit of stuff to say here, so let's do it. So first off, I have the Ho-Oh Charty Berry Regenerator set that is going to be the non-Dynamaxing set. I mean, obviously you can Dynamax it, it's pretty flexible, but it doesn't really want to Dynamax that frequently, so I would put it next to something that does like to Dynamax pretty frequently, maybe something like a Lapras, maybe something like a Kartana. You have a lot of different options for the side Pokemon, but yeah, Ho-Oh is just going to be chilling the whole game, and it's pretty good. So, Ho-Oh Charty Berry. We went for Charty Berry because that, makes the rock weakness into a regular weakness, which is very, very useful. And then also, it's just good. You have a lot of different items, though, that you can use. So if you don't really want to go for Charty Berry, you can go for something like safety goggles with this set. Lumberry could be good. Leftovers or even a Pinch Berry would be great. Any of those options are very solid for this build. As far as the actual build goes, Ability Regenerator, we're not going to be touching Pressure because Regenerator is just so strong. And the EV spread for this Pokemon is going to be 124 HP, 252 attack, 4 defense, 68 special defense, and 60 speed. So let me explain this set a little bit. So at 60 speed, we hit 118, which times 2 from Tailwind or 2 max airstreams allows it to outspeed Choice Scarf Kyogre, which is really, really big in our format right now. So that's a really good thing to have. If you have Tailwind and then bring out the Ho-Oh later in the game, I mean, obviously you don't want to go up against Kyogre, but this thing can live a hit because of its insane special bulk. So it's actually not bad to go up against Kyogre. I mean, I would not recommend it, but it's there. The option is there, and that's what the speed was there for, which is very good. Also, Adamant Nature as well. So Adamant Nature with 252 attack, just doing as much damage as possible out of that Sacred Fire or Brave Bird, with having great recovery of Recover and Regenerator. So that's really good. Natural Bulk is great, but still supplementing that a little bit with 124 HP, 4 defense, and 68 special defense, just for a couple of certain calcs, specific calcs. One was that Kyogre calc, and then we have a couple more that we'll talk about in the damage calc portion, which is going to be later on in the video. But for this calc, for this spread, those calcs work so well. It's just so great. As far as the moveset goes, I went Sacred Fire, Brave Bird, Recover, and Protect. I think that's pretty standard. Sacred Fire and Brave Bird for great dual stab. You have Protect, and then one move of choice, which I went for Recover because this is going to be a recovering, sitting on the field build that just sits there the whole time, does good damage, and is very naturally bulky. And if you can take out the threats before bringing in Ho-Oh, it's really hard to It's really hard to difficult to speak. It's very difficult to get through this Pokemon, to break through it. It's very difficult because of his insane special defense. So if you can get rid of these like rock and physical threats, Ho-Oh just sits there. It just chills, which is pretty good. Even Rain Kyogre. Like, Kyogre in Rain isn't even taking a knockout, an OHKO guaranteed. It's just crazy. And then you have, if you take a lot of damage, you have Recover and just Regenerator as well. So Ho-Oh works really well. And that's a big reason why I didn't really want to go for the Dynamax build, because Regenerator is just so good, and I don't really want to have to, switch out my Dynamax to Guy. It's just not as good. Anyway, speaking of Dynamax build, that's what the second build I have here for is today. It's going to be a basic build, though. It's going to be very easy and self-explanatory. We have Life Orb, Regenerator, 4 HP, 252 into attack, and 252 into speed. Jolly Nature, just being as fast as possible. That is going to be the name of the game of this guy. Life Orb, Dynamax, pretty basic, pretty straightforward. We have Dual Stab, Protect, and then Earthquake as well as the move of choice, just so that we have that good damage that can hit those rock and the electric type Pokemon that kind of threaten this guy. So having those is a great option. There are a couple of other options that we will talk about. As far as items go, you can go for a weakness policy set for this. That could be really cool. Lumberry could be good as well if you know you don't want to get burned, but you're not really gonna get burned because it's Ho-Oh. It's just not really going to get burned. But, you know, Spore is really big. But we also have Safety Goggles. So if you are, you know, afraid of Spore, Safety Goggles seems like a really good go. Also, White Herb is a great option because this Pokemon can get intimidated, and that would really suck. So, you know, and Intimidate's insane in our meta right now. Lando and Incineroar are everywhere. It's, you know, they're two of the most used Pokemon in the game. A lot of teams will run both of them. So White Herb is not a bad idea as well. And that's probably all I would, you know, switch with this build. And then you also have a couple of good move attacks that you could go for. Sky Attack could be good instead of Brave Bird if you're just looking for sheer damage, which it's a Dynamax build, so you probably are. But Brave Bird is still just so solid, you know, and you're only giving up 10 BP, 10 base power for that. So I think it's worth it to go Brave Bird. But Sky Attack is a cool, you know, thing you have access to. And then it also has Iron Head, which could actually be very solid, being able to turn into Max Steel Spike, being able to supplement your defense, which is actually Ho-Oh's weakest stat, I believe. Is that right? I mean, that and speed, but still, you know, you can supplement speed as well with Max Airstream, so yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, that is it for the builds that I have prepared and move sets and everything, so let's talk about these synergetic Pokemon before I move on. I just said Pokemon, like weird. In a weird way. Anyway, Rillaboom here. Rillaboom is good. You know, it covers your water and your rock weakness really well. Destroys Kyogre, which is a big, you know, problem. It destroys a lot of these really good Pokemon that Ho-Oh is kind of afraid of. Rillaboom can do that. And also, Rillaboom is a pretty flexible Pokemon and can usually Dynamax unless you have Choice Band on it. But, I mean, then you can still Dynamax. You just don't have an item, so... yeah, but Rillaboom is a very solid Pokemon for this team. Also, it starts off your Fire, Water, Grass core really well, so that's awesome. Next, we have Regieleki. A couple of my calcs are in screens. I think screens are very important for this Pokemon, especially if you're not going to be Dynamaxing it a lot, and even if you are Dynamaxing it, screens is always very good. Regieleki doesn't have to be doing screens, though, also. It can be doing a lot of damage. You can have this or Grimmsnarl on your team for screens. They're the best screens user, in my opinion, right now, so I'd probably go for those, but there are a couple of other options that you can go for, but they just seem the best. Next, we have Lapras. I think Lapras is an amazing synergy for Ho-Oh. It's just so strong. It's a great Dynamax next to it. It covers Ho-Oh's weaknesses. Ho-Oh covers its weaknesses. They work really well in tandem. The only problem is, you know, you're going to set Max Geyser up every now and again, and then Ho-Oh is going to be like, I wanted to kill things with Sacred Fire, and then you probably can't. But still, it's a really good synergy, and it's very powerful. Also, it likes to be behind screens. Lapras set screens. Makes sense. And then last but not least, we have Whimsicott. It's going to be setting up pretty well. Whimsicott is, of course, going to go for that very powerful Tailwind. And that's about it for that. Taunting Trick Room can be good as well. And, you know, you can even trick some cool things. You know, it's a very versatile Pokemon, but Prankster Tailwind is really good. And I wanted to go for that instead of Tornadus because Tornadus is flying, and doubling up on flying isn't always the best, especially since Rock Slide is a move that would ruin that lead. So it's pretty good. Anyway, that is it for the move sets and stuff like that. Let's move on to the speed tiers. So in speed tiers, Pokemon's actually pretty fast. You know, if supplemented correctly, we have it here at 118 for the build, but it is base 110. Which is on the same speed tier as a lot of really good restricted Pokemon, things like Dialga, all the Giratinas, Groudon, Kyogre, Reshiram, and Zekrom. So that's pretty good. It is outspeeding Pokemon like Cresselia and Tapu Fini and DDF with no speed investment, and Rillaboom with no speed investment. So it's not a bad place to be at. But at 118, you are outspeeding all of those base Pokemon for things like the Reshiram and Zekrom. They'll probably have the speed investment, but still, It's cool. And then if you go ahead and double that with Tailwind, it is outspeeding things like Lando T at Choice Scarf and Kyogre at Groudon at Choice Scarf. And of course, all those Pokemon are that 150 to 200 range, like Dragapult, Crobat, Mewtwo, Tapu Koko, Groudon, Kyogre, and all those Pokemon in that 160 to 200 range. You know, Kartana, Garchomp, Nihilego. I say them all the time. They're just good to know speed tiers. So yeah, under Tailwind, it's pretty useful though. And I know that there's Geomancy on the right, and it's supposed to be Tailwind. My bad. Anyway, that's it for the speed tiers. Let's go ahead and talk about some damage calcs. So damage calcs are looking pretty good, by the way. We have 252 plus attack Ho-Oh Brave Bird into a 252 HP for defense Rillaboom, hitting 118 to 140%, which is a guaranteed OHKO. Very good damage calc there. Right into the Rillaboom, which is a top 10 Pokemon. Very good calc to have. Next, we have 252 plus attack Ho-Oh Sacred Fire into a 68 HP zero defense, which is the most used currently on Pikalytics and most used by most players. It's like the, you know, Assault Vest special defense stat with speed spread. It's this pretty standard spread. Into the Dynamax Kartana, hitting 106 to 125, which is a guaranteed OHKO. That is really good to have. But of course, Kyogre Kartana teams are going around, and that'll, you know, lower the attack, but still cool to know. Next, we have 252 plus attack Ho-Oh Brave Bird into a 252 HP 156 plus defense Amoonguss, which is currently the most used on Pikalytics, hitting 101 to 120% guaranteed OHKO, which is amazing. However, it is usually going to have either a Koba Berry or a Focus Sash, so you're not always taking the knockout, but you know, it's still a good matchup. It's just a good thing to know. Just saying. Next, we have 252 attack Lando T Max Rockfall into our 124 HP 68 with Charty Berry, hitting 82 to 97, which is guaranteed to a KO. Great stuff. This is non-Dynamax Ho-Oh, by the way, so that's really good to know. Next, we have Kyogre Water Spout into our Ho-Oh in Rain through Light Screen. So a whole bunch of things there. A bunch of ways to change that. If you don't have Light Screen, you can Dynamax. If the rain isn't up, you don't have to have Light Screen. A couple of different things there that can change it, you know, and also if you deal damage to the Kyogre, its Water Spout's going to be weaker, and so on and so forth. This is a damage calc that's going to change a lot due to the circumstances, but in rain, through Light Screen, you're safe, which is really good. Next, we have 252 plus special attack Magnet Transistor Regieleki Thunderbolt into our 124 HP for special defense Ho-Oh, hitting 88 to 104, which is a 31% chance to OHKO. This is something I couldn't really get rid of. I didn't want to invest more into special defense because everything was kind of spoken for as far as investments, but 31% chance to OHKO, it's a pretty low chance. I'm probably not going to want to take this very frequently. Like, you're not going to want to sit up there next to against a Magnet Transistor Regieleki, but still, it's a cool thing to note. Anyway, that's it for the damage calcs. Let's talk about Single Spotlight real quick before I end the video. So in Single Spotlight, you can run Ho-Oh a couple of different ways, and I'll say a couple of different ways that you can run it now. But for the build that I have right here, Choice Band Regenerator, we have Sacred Fire Brave Bird for dual stab, Earthquake for coverage, and Defog just to get rid of those annoying hazards that are very prevalent in, you know, singles. So that is really good. Defog's really good. You could also go for like a Defog heavy duty boots, defensive with like Thunder Wave and stuff. That could be really cool. And also you could invest like some special defense to make this thing just an absolute tank as in the special defense department. So those are a couple of different options, but for now, Choice Band, max HP, max attack. It's pretty basic. It's very easy stuff to know. And it's, you know, pretty good. It works pretty well, so I think it's good. Anyway, that is about it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Go down into the comment section and say, hey, I like blank restricted Pokemon the most in Series 8. Or whatever you want to say in the comment section. Just leave a comment. Just do it. And it helps me, you know. It's cool. And same with subscribing. It helps me. It's cool. It doesn't really do much for you, but I appreciate it. Anyway, that's it for the video. Hope you have a good week, and goodbye.